Not that far off.
So it's been a while since I've been to a show. But then there's the, I don't know, Dad took us to a couple of smaller shows growing up. And then, like, the only, like, big, huge show that I ever went to was I went to a Metallica concert when the Death Magnetic album dropped.
Yeah, when you said you hadn't been in 10 years, that's what I thought you meant. That was the last one you went to.
That was the first concert I ever been to, and it was the first and only, like, oh, that's not true, I've been to a Bon Jovi concert. I forgot about that. I was going to say it was the only stadium concert I've been to. That's not true. I went to a Bon Jovi when I was about 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're coming up with another one. 3 stadium.
Right.
Yeah, it will be on the lawn, so I don't know how that'll all work out.
It's a lawn show? Okay.
Yeah, because the higher tickets were like $70.
Okay.
Yeah, so just...
That's whatever.
We'll sit around...
Still isn't that bad.
It's not, but we're going to sit around and drink and chill, yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be fun.
I'm excited. I gotta reconfirm the date because I need to... Oh, I forgot to write the description. Oh, well. I need to reconfirm the date because I need to take off work. But all of that will come in time. Until then, Connor, let's go ahead and drop some sense on him, yeah?
You think we can do that?
What's poppin', players? Welcome back to the Two Penny Gamescast, episode 55. 55, Connor. We're just kind of
going on.
I feel like we say it every other episode, but it's just when you start from one and it's your first thing that you do, and you just keep growing and going. Eventually, like, that number is just only going to get bigger, and eventually it's just going to be like, damn, we're at 100 or whatever.
The 100 episode special.
This is crazy. Are we going to do anything for that 100 episode special? Probably not.
Probably not. Well,
hey, the same show.
Maybe it'll line up when there's like the end of the year, so we can talk about the best games of that year.
It might be a cool, like, whatever. It probably won't be. I'd have to go and look. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if you did not know, I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host, Connor Elliott. Say hello to the people, Connor.
Hello.
And we, every week, Monday at 8 a.m., come to you with the new news you need to know about concerning the video game industry. Each of us bring 2 topics, 2 pennies, if you will, and we give you our 2 cents on them. You can find this show at youtube.com/2pennygamescast or Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any of those mainstream audio platforms. We're out there. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a share, a comment, whatever you want. It really does help. We really do appreciate it. If, just talking about video games isn't enough for you, if it doesn't scratch the itch, if you want more 2 penny games content, you can go ahead and follow us over at twitch.tv/2pennygames, where every week me and my good buddy Phil on Tuesdays run a little show called Hype, HYEP, Have You Ever Played, in which one of us shows the other one a video game that they have never played before. Currently, we are running through Mass Effect 3. We are in the midst of it. We just got through some very, very major arcs, and now we're looking up this week we're looking to just kind of knock out some of these side things going on. Get some DLC, get some more DLC stuff under our belts. Knock out any side things we want to do, and then continue until the penultimate mission right before then. And then next week we'll finish it off. It'll be great.
Now, I obviously, of course, because I'm not a real fan, didn't watch it.
No,
any of that. So obviously spoilers,
right?
But I'm forgetting the name. The Quarian's planet.
Rannoch. We've completed Rannoch.
Successful. Everything went off without a hitch.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did everything right.
Did he save the Admiral or his men?
The Admiral.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways.
No, there we go.
Yeah, he did everything pretty right. I'll say he's looking pretty good for his assault on Earth.
Okay.
There's a couple of short steps that he's fallen into, but he's looking pretty good right now.
Okay, good.
He's not ready for that ending. Anyways, if you can't catch us live, though, you can occasionally catch us on youtube.com/2pennygamescast, where I edit down these 10-hour-long streams, when I can, and put up parts on there. You can catch our very first stream of Metal Gear Solid 1 up there right now. I'm really just dragging my feet finishing that, I'll be honest.
I mean, it's a chuck fest. You gotta go through every single bit.
It's a lot of footage. I gotta edit it all down, and then it's time. And then this isn't our day job, so that is like the tertiary thing when it comes to my secondary thing that I do. So,
which is video gaming,
which is the content, Connor. The content
kind of has to happen first before this.
Yeah. Anyways, Connor. Let's go ahead. Let's jump right into it. Let's jump into our first story. We, again, neglected to break down whose topics are what. So you know what? This first one's you. No, it's me.
No, you sent this one.
Yeah. This one's my penny. My penny, damn it, Connor. Stingy with the pennies.
Well, good on you. One of them has to belong to me. I know we didn't hash it out, but you know which one.
I mean, yeah, it's fine. I've already got it broken down in my head. It's fine.
We'll see.
You'll agree. Anyways, so if you've been keeping up with the news in the industry, you would know Activision Blizzard has been in some hot water for very good reason these last few weeks. And then recently, Jason Schreier broke the news on Twitter that some repercussions have happened. So, August 3rd, Jason Schreier, I'm pulling straight from Schreier's Twitter, breaking. Blizzard President J. Allen Brack is leaving the company. Activision Blizzard just told staff Jen O'Neill and Mike Ybarra will take over as, quote, co-leaders of Blizzard, filed to Bloomberg. Terminal story will be live shortly. This news comes during a cultural reckoning at Blizzard in the wake of a California lawsuit 2 weeks ago alleging discrimination at the company. Activision Blizzard Daniel Allegri said in an email to staff that Brack was, quote, leaving the company to pursue new opportunities. Titles mean a lot in the corporate world. Until 2018, Mike Mohormy was CEO.
Morhaime, I guess.
Sure. Was CEO. When Brack took over, he was president. Now, O'Neill and Ybarra are described as co-leaders. A clear glimpse at who's really in charge, Bobby Kotick. And then the story went live. And then, shortly after that, let me check, same day, Schreier also reported that Blizzard's head of HR, Jesse Michalk, is also no longer at the company. Now, Connor, I don't think that any of this is really too surprising, and I also don't think it means too much.
No, because, I mean, like, obviously they're just rat scurrying in the face of big PR troubles.
100%.
Yeah.
It's board members coming in saying, yo, get the fuck out of here, because you're messing up the money.
Yeah. Now, obviously we don't know if they were partaking in the things that were being reported on.
I would assume the head of HR was.
But at the very least, they were happening under their watch, so it makes sense for them to try and save face a bit.
There was a story, some kind of meeting. There was a story that also broke. I forgot to cite it. Mm-hmm. Also broke that there was a meeting amongst executives and stuff, and big HR people were present in that meeting, and they were talking about some like bullshit or whatever that they were doing. More like their scummy stuff. And the meeting basically ended with one of the executives saying, at the end of the day, don't sleep with your assistant. But if you do, don't stop.
Yeah, maybe not.
Fucking assholes,
At
right?
First, I was like, it sounds like he's making a good point here. But then he just
No,
he dig himself into
completely a
a
piece
shittier
of
hole.
shit.
Yeah. Who was this again? The HR guy?
No,
Or
it wasn't an HR guy. It was one
executive.
of the executives that is a part of the problem. Listen, there's a lot of you got to cut a lot of shit out of this company. I won't be surprised if we see many, many more. So and so gets fired. So and so gets repositioned. So and so
leaves,
is demoted. So and so leaves. Quote unquote leaves because that sounds nicer than being fired.
Yep. Makes it seem like there's a lot less blame to be put on Activision and Blizzard, and they have to just be leaving to pursue other ventures.
Yeah, pursue other opportunities, or whatever. It's really just people with money meaning too much to burn bridges.
Yeah.
So none of even these people who leave, like they're still going to be in probably our industry because that's where they created their bread and butter. But it's just like, come on, man.
And even if they weren't in the industry, if they're overseeing this kind of behavior and it goes unchecked, doesn't even matter what other industry they go to because it can just cause more problems there.
Yeah.
They're just shitty people through and through.
Stories like this really should follow them to their graves, really.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, moving on. Connor, that's not all that has to do with Activision. Let's get to the big Activision news this week. Your first penny report. Coca-Cola and State Farm step away from Overwatch League sponsorship. This is an article from Polygon we're pulling by Cass Marshall. The Overwatch League faces further turmoil. According to a new report, Coca-Cola and State Farm are reconsidering their partnerships with the league in the wake of a lawsuit filed by the state of California's Department of Fair Employee and Housing over allegations of widespread sexual harassment and discrimination. As reported by the Washington Post, two of the Overwatch League's major sponsors are reassessing their relationship with the league. State Farm and Coca-Cola are two of the league's 7 sponsors listed on their website, along with IBM, Xfinity, Cheez-Its, Pringles, and TeamSpeak. Brand deals are one of the ways to measure success for a competitive ecosystem like the Overwatch League. The league lost T-Mobile as a sponsor on Tuesday, and it appears as though others may soon follow. In a statement to the Post, a representative of State Farm said that the insurance provider was, quote, reevaluating our limited marketing relationship with the Overwatch League, and the company has requested that, quote, no advertisements run during the matches this weekend. A spokesperson for Coca-Cola shared a similar sentiment, saying that the company is, quote, aware of the allegations and are working to, quote, take a step back for a moment to revisit future plans and programs. And then the article goes on to, summarize what we just covered with Brack and the HR head leaving. Listen, this is how real change is made on the major level. You make your voice heard. You say, "Hey, man, this is shitty." You bring this up to sponsorships. You bring this up to where the money is. Just straight up banning all future Blizzard Activision properties. I don't know if that really works. I think that it actually hurts people such as the developers who are the victims in the first place, through crunch and through the sexual harassment and the racial discrimination and all of this. So I think it's actually, even though it doesn't feel good, and I'm not going to actively support or actively campaign for buying Activision Blizzard properties, but I think straight out being don't buy their shit isn't the way to go. This is more of the way to go. This is how you actually hit them where it hurts.
Because if one thing will make people take action on the executive level, it's their sponsors leaving them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's worth noting, guys like us, we're the minority here. We're paying attention to this story, and we're following it as it develops, and we're listening to these things that happen. But most people who play Call of Duty don't give a shit about who makes Call of Duty.
No. Warzone players, I wouldn't think they would care at all. They just want to know what the next update's going to bring.
Absolutely.
It's a good step. I mean, this could be one of those situations where they step away from them, as it's saying, but then they come back later on once the fires died down.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to also keep looking forward to these things to see how it develops.
Which I'm not opposed to them coming back and re-supporting the Overwatch League. The Overwatch League is provides entertainment to a bunch of people, and it's mostly an okay organization. It's just that it's ties to Activision Blizzard, and Activision Blizzard getting its paycheck from events Overwatch League throws. This is how we make change.
Yeah, I have to feel bad for the players in Overwatch League because they're not a part, like you said, they're not a part of Blizzard. They're not involved in these accusations. I haven't heard anything of them doing those problems.
You do hear stories all the time of esports teams.
You do
mistreating female coworkers and team members and so forth.
Yeah, you do. I just haven't heard much from Overwatch League specifically.
Sure,
I haven't heard much.
So, anyways, very interesting. It's again a wait and see. We'll have to just see how this unfolds as we're covering it week to week,
right,
and so forth. But this is unfortunate. I don't think is the right term, but it sucks that it's going to affect people who had nothing to do with the issue.
Yes,
but it's how we fix the issue,
and there's no way around that part. It's unfortunate, but it's going to happen if you want anything to change.
Headlines like these is how you catch mainstream audiences. Wait, Coca-Cola, T-Mobile, they stepped up. What is happening here because of this? Oh shit! Hey, something should be done. This is how things like this happen. This is how things like this work.
Yeah, I know our friends are big into Overwatch League, and when they went to their one of the events they had over here, they saw advertisements all the time. They were saying, "Here, here's this great new product," and heavily relied on for Overwatch.
Shoutcasters are all drinking Coca-Cola. They've got a bag of Cheez-Its next to them. Mm-hmm. State Farm pops up at every commercial break, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so once again, it's one of those. That's always going to be the theme with this story, where we have to wait and see how it develops, and if these things actually have an impact, a lasting impact.
Moving on, Connor. Topic number 3. Something that excites me, but I'm keeping my expectations low because we live in a different world than we used to now. Dead Space will launch in late 2022 if development goes to plan. Pulling an article from Venture Beat by Jeff Grubb, who initially leaked the original Dead Space remake story. Not leaked it, but reported on leakings and so forth. Electronic Arts is really making that Dead Space game that fans wanted. The game is going simply by the name Dead Space, and as I previously reported, that represents developers EA Motive's desire to remake the original game while also rebooting the franchise as a whole. Excuse me. And fans should get a chance to experience the results of those efforts when Dead Space launches in fall of 2022. According to sources familiar with development, this means the game is a little bit more than a year away. Of course, in the tumultuous game industry, target dates slip frequently. And it's important to note that EA has not publicly stated or confirmed release timing for Dead Space. I reached out to EA for comment, and a spokesperson for the publisher provided the following statement. Quote, "We haven't shared a release date for the game, and we don't have any comment based on the current rumor and speculation. But we're glad people are excited for the game." But internally, EA is expecting to launch Dead Space during its fiscal 2023, so we won't see that in its financial guidance until early next year. But by then, we will likely have heard more from the publisher about the game. The company does have some intentions to reveal more of Dead Space before the end of 2021. That could take the form of a trailer dropping on the company's YouTube page, or maybe it's another candidate to show up at the Game Awards in December. At that time, it's possible that EA could give a release date, although that might go against current trends. Many publishers are keeping final release dates quiet until much later in the marketing cycle. This is due to the pandemic making a tough business even more uncertain. But it's also because publishers are seeing little downside as games continue to sell, even if customers have to wait last minute for release specifics. For example, Nintendo didn't announce Mario Kart Golf Super Rush until February, and it sold more than 1.3 million copies in 5 days in June. Connor, are we getting Dead Space next year?
I think so, honestly. I do think so. You think it's 2023?
Oh, easily 2023. To be fair, when they first announced Dead Space Remake, and it was just a little cool little cinematic teaser thing, and it was whatever, no dates, not even a year. I was like, oh, this shit's not till like 2024, 2025. But I'm excited to hear that it's coming. For them to say, for the rumblings, the rumors, the speculation, for the insider knowledge to say, hey, it's actually coming sooner than that. That excites me, especially with all the information we've been learning over the last few weeks since the announcement. They're cutting things that, don't work so much. They're fixing any plot holes in the overall trilogy. They're, combining efforts in different things that worked in all three games and leaving the things that didn't work in all three games, on the cutting room floor. Mm-hmm. I saw a thing that says they're taking heavy of course, and then they're taking their Resident Evil 2 remake inspirations, which is great. And then on top of that, I'm hearing they're also taking inspirations from God of War with the no-cutting camera. So the camera will be one single shot the entire way through. Sounds great. That's perfect for survival horror games. That makes perfect sense to me.
And there's definitely moments from playing it recently where little events happen while you're going throughout the Ishimura that were very seamless at the time. So if we're making it more dynamic in that sense, would improve the horror aspects of that game and make it scarier.
Exactly. And I've recently been replaying 2018 God of War in preparation for Hype. And we'll talk about that a little more later. But I really do think revisiting that game and seeing how they use that single cut camera and how it's actually used to hide some of the game's flaws is brilliant. So I'm very excited to see how that type of technique will work in the future, even though I'm sure that's a big ass pain in the ass to get that illusion to work of the single shot camera in a video game. As for 2022, fall 2022, I don't believe that for half a second. I do think we'll probably get a trailer at the Game Awards, I would assume. Mm-hmm. In which case, it'll end with like the year of releasing 2022. I won't believe it when they say it there either, because the delays happened all the fucking time in this industry before COVID. Now that like everything's getting delayed, and now we have to worry about health of workers, which we should. That should be the priority for first and foremost. I just don't see how it's possible to get this game from not hearing about it even in the slightest to getting the rumor mills from Jeff Grubb to it being announced at the EA Play Live this last month, and then now it's coming out in what, a year and a half, give or take a few months. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. Dead Space is a big game, and I think they're announcing it this early for a reason, because they want Dead Space to be a franchise that can rival the likes of Resident Evil, which we're seeing unprecedented success from Resident Evil in these last few years, especially this year with Village. So, yeah, I don't know.
The fact that it was rumored that it's going to be fall 2022 still makes me believe that even if it was delayed, which I do think it will be delayed. If it is, it might just be for a couple months, and it could come out sometime in December or November. Or maybe
I was going to say. So what do you
like
expect?
December? Like, I was thinking specifically
an initial date for like September or maybe early October or something, and then just delayed a month or two.
Something like that could be, but also it could have been, if it doesn't come out in 2022, even if it wasn't delayed that much, I could even see it coming early 2023, like January or February. It's delayed just a couple more months beyond that. It's hard to say. All these are just leaks anyway, so you can't really accurately determine how far along the progress of the game is. But I could still see them making that mark. They're definitely not. They're definitely not right now eager to say when they actually think the game is going to come out.
And they have no need to.
No, they don't need to at all, which is good.
Yeah, the last year and a half, 2 years has been a boom for the video game industry because people are stuck at home, so they're just buying video games, willy nilly. And then now, with the release of the new generation of consoles and so forth, like the expectations are, sales are just going to go up. PlayStation has the fastest selling console of all time currently. Xbox is breaking their own personal records all the time now. So it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, the fan base is wider, more people are gamers than they were before, which really makes you wonder why we needed that price gauge. Anyways, I don't see it. I don't see it. Now, this does tell me that the game is coming sooner than I thought, but I think it's going to be hard-pressed to get this game out in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Nice to see. See when it is.
We will have to see. Connor, breezing straight through, running straight into our final topic of the day, your second penny. Let's talk about some more rumor stuff.
We'll talk about that
stuff. Let's have a little fun here. Let's hypothesize. Mm-hmm. So 2K to reveal new franchise later this month. Pulling an IGN article from Taylor Lyles. We already know Take-Two Interactive subsidiaries have a slew of projects in the works. And today, we know that Take-Two subsidiary 2K has a new franchise in the works, and it is slated to be revealed later this month. Excuse me. I drank water too fast, and now I got some...
You get the little hiccups?
Got a little hiccupy. 2K, the new franchise... According to Take-Two's first quarter earnings report, 2K's new franchise will be unveiled this month, with confirmation that the game will launch sometime during this fiscal year. For context, that means this new original game will launch anywhere between now and March 31st, 2022. The new franchise reveal is part of our 4, quote, immersive core releases planned. The new franchise reveal is part of 4 immersive core releases planned for 2022 fiscal year from Take-Two Interactive, which also includes NBA 2K22 and WWE 2K22 from 2K and Visual Concepts and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands from Gearbox Software. But Take-Two also has some other games slated to come out in this fiscal year, including the independent 2D skateboarding game Ollie Ollie World, 10 mobile games, in addition to 6 new iterations of prior releases, including GTA 5 for Xbox Series X/S and PS5, a standalone release of GTA Online, Kerbal Space Program Enhanced Edition, as well as 3 games that have yet to be fully officially announced. Looking into the future beyond the 2022 fiscal year, Take-Two Interactive has also additional games coming from its subsidiaries. This includes a new entry in the BioShock franchise from Cloud Chamber, and rumors suggesting a new entry in Grand Theft Auto may release within the next few years. Connor, does this excite you? Is this interesting? How do we feel about this?
The more I think about it, I don't really play 2K games. The one I played the most of was Borderlands, but obviously I didn't play it as much as like my brother or you and Phil did, because I know you guys were totally into that game.
We love Borderlands.
I would have to see and wait for what games come out. I mean, I'm interested because who knows what they could be revealing. Well, who knows what type of game.
Could be literally anything.
Because they do sports games, they do shooters.
Platformers.
Yeah. Really, there's no... Like it's not something like a Bethesda, where they're going to be doing an RPG.
You're looking at with Bethesda, you're looking at a first-person shooter. You're looking like a stealth game. You're looking at an RPG, something like that.
Yeah. So
a Sony PlayStation game. Until recently, you're looking at a third-person action-adventure narrative-based video game. Until except for the new studios that they've launched.
Yeah. Right. So I would like to see. Obviously. I want to see more from Tiny Tina's Wonderland. That's my most anticipated. That's the game that's gotten my attention for now.
From this last E3 hype train, mine is no, I like Metro Dread. I want to play Metro Dread. Anyways, but no, I'm very excited to see what Tiny Tina's Wonderland has for us.
Yeah. So, but beyond that, really, I can't even theorize what might be released. I can't even begin to think. Thankfully, we'll be learning about it not too long from here.
See, the thing that throws me off is that it's a new title.
Yeah,
it's a new IP, something. So it could literally be anything. More sports games, more platforming, more like a new skateboarding type thing. Could be just another first-person looter shooter thing. Could be some kind of games as service, Destiny model type thing. Could be anything. It really could. What excites me about this is that if you look at overall the caliber of games that they have in their catalog here with Take-Two and with 2K, you're looking at a lot of hits. So I'm sure it's going to be good. Now, whether it's going to interest you and I, that's another conversation entirely. But, something to definitely keep our eye out for the next month, and definitely be like, hey, is this, a big game? Because after the delay of Horizon into next year that we covered last week, God, time is a flat circle now. I can't remember anything. In terms of big AAA releases this year and this fall specifically are looking pretty light for me. It's really a year that's going to be carried by the smaller titles, with the exception of Ratchet and Clank. You're looking at Returnal. You're looking at Death's Door. You're looking at Metroid Dread.
That indie game, 12 Minutes. I know that's got a lot of
12 minutes exactly. That's coming out later this month. Very, very excited for all of those. But as someone who loves his big third party, third person action adventures like that PlayStation has in SKUs. This year is a little dry in terms of those things. We're still getting some cool shooters. Battlefield is looking to be delivering on a lot of things that people are excited for. Far Cry 6 looks to be not exactly like a reinvention of the franchise, but definitely like an evolution in the way that they've been going for the last couple of titles, in which I think will actually recapture some of their audience that seemed to be fading with 5. So in terms of just a new big game, big AAA game, assuming it is big in AAA and super expensive or whatever, that excites me that it could possibly come out this year and maybe give us something to really sink our teeth into in a year where we've had just a bunch of smaller experiences, which are all great in their own right, but there hasn't been a definitive this is Game of the Year title to me at least. Except for I guess the closest is Ratchet, but
I thought it would
Returnal is my personal favorite. I'm talking the wider scale of things. So yeah, I'm very, very, very excited to see what this could be and what we have in store.
Now, just one quick question I have for you. We do know that we've had rumors that I know it's not rumors. It's been kind of confirmed that a new BioShock game is going to inevitably come out. That is published by 2K. Obviously, it's a different studio that's worked on it in the past.
Yeah, it's not Ken Levine. No. He's off doing his own thing now. For years, who even knows what he's working on now?
Yeah, specifically, it's Cloud Chamber Studios is the one who's currently working on it right now.
Yeah.
Could we possibly see something like that in the near future? If 2K's rolling out all this different kind of things.
I don't think so. We'll have to see if that BioShock game even ever officially gets the full marketing treatment of here's a new just cinematic trailer and shit and all of that. But we will definitely. I mean, I don't even know. Do we want more BioShock?
People, I mean, if you ask most people, I would say they'd say yes.
Yeah, but most people don't know what they want. They think they know what they want, but they don't know what they want. You know what I'm saying?
I guess I'm one of those people because I wouldn't mind another BioShock game, depending on what was going on with it. You just
want BioShock again, is what.
Not necessarily.
I can't speak for you specifically, but I feel like the people just want BioShock again. And if you just want BioShock again, just go play BioShock again.
Well, see, that's what I'm curious about, because obviously you had BioShock 1 and 2 took place in Rapture, and then you had Infinite that had it took its place in Columbia, New Columbia? Columbia, yeah. So really, obviously, two different... sky and underwater are two very, very different things, and that's why they chose going to an air map from Rapture. So, if they were to do something unique like that again, switch it up so where it's not in one of those two places, then I could see that as being a reason of what people would be looking forward to. At least for me, as well. But
what does a new BioShock even look like?
I don't know.
What does it even look like? Because there's a stringent of fans who didn't care for Infinite's more action-focused gameplay. But the original game is now, I think, too old and in some ways doesn't hold up as well as other first-person shooters of its time. And even though I love BioShock 1 and BioShock Infinite, I never personally played 2. I just don't see why we need that type of experience again. I would just rather something new.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Now I feel like we've squeezed we've gotten all the juice out of BioShock that we can.
I can understand that. I would just be interested to see what angle they would take with this new one. Because it is, well, at least it says it's coming out, but who knows?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Connor.
That's it for the news?
That's it for the news, my friend. So, let's go ahead and let's wrap this bad boy up with arguably my favorite segment.
I would say so as well.
What have you been playing?
I've been playing nothing. This has been a weird week because I've been busy with so many other things that video games have been the last thing on my mind.
Sure.
I picked up, you get ready to roll your eyes. I played a little bit of For Honor. Just because I had some.
Why?
Because I wasn't getting into like a deep dive into a game.
Why is this even on your console?
Because I play it and I enjoy it, but I didn't deep dive into it. I just played for like an hour, and I was like, okay, well, let me go back to doing other things. As far as games are concerned, I am getting ready to be a DM for the first time. So for D&D, so part of my energy has been going into that.
I want video games, Connor.
But
Video games.
It's a game
that
though.
Matter.
Technically, it's not a video game. No. It's a game. That's the closest thing I've done a lot this week.
Jesus Christ, Connor.
Okay, what do you have?
Not much. We both went for the water at the same time.
Yep,
that was a bad idea. Anyways, no. God, Death's Door has been sitting on my fucking PC for weeks now. I just can't load it up. I can't jump into it. I don't know why. I've been extremely busy this week. Work has been requiring a lot for me this last week. And then last night, I went to finally jump into this new Apex Legends season. People are very excited. I'm itching for some Apex, and I'm playing around with the idea of like trying to go into the competitive playlists and stuff and see what I can do there and fuck around in there for a little while. And I just really, really, really want to jump into Apex and really, dive deep into that this season. I've heard that they've taken one of my favorite guns out of rotation and made it only available in care package drops.
Which one?
The Alternator.
Oh, really?
Little tiny SMG.
Yeah.
They do this thing where they cycle out weapons and they put them only in care packages. Like if you remember when the game launched, Connor, you remember the Prowler, little smaller SMG 3-shot weapon.
Yeah.
That's been gone for a long time. But it's coming back. It's come back this season, and then the Alternator has jumped to only being in care packages. But if you find it in a care package, it's fully kitted. So it's like, oh man, if I find one of those, game's over. Like I win. That's just me. So I've been dying to like just really dive deep into that and have fun with that and play around with some new tactics that I've had formulating in my head. But I haven't really had time. The other night, I had a little bit of time on my hands. Last night I tried to jump in, but I had to update. Took all night, so I was playing God of War. And then the night before that was a tough night at work, so I, decompressed with some God of War. So I've just been playing a lot of God of War lately. And, like I mentioned earlier in the show, first of all, game is still phenomenal. Still a fantastic game. However, I've noticed this time through that I didn't catch the first time. The combat feels super detached from the story. What I mean in that is that in a game that is so clearly inspired by The Last of Us and how perfectly The Last of Us marries its narrative and its gameplay together, in my opinion, to where it doesn't feel like you're fighting. It doesn't feel like you're going narrative beat, arena, narrative beat, arena, narrative beat, arena. Even though you are, it doesn't feel that way because they've so perfectly blended the two together. God of War 2018, I feel like there's many times where it's like, this arena is happening because you're scared the player is getting bored. So you've inserted this fight. You've had people literally teleport out of nowhere to come fight me for no reason in a moment that I think would play better if the game was quiet. And if you were just left with your thoughts and your emotions. Specifically, there's a moment where a character gets a little full of himself.
Yeah.
You know this moment well. If there was less... And then there is a moment where that affects combat. Which is great. But there's many moments leading up to that to where it's like, but you had me randomly fight a bunch of like lower level enemies for no reason.
Yeah.
Like I'm just fighting them for no reason. Just because you want me to fight them, I guess. Like, and it's not like the game just hands you experience and resources and currency. Just hand over fist hands it to you. I've already maxed out all my weapons in terms of like abilities that I've upgraded and stuff, and I'm still like finding new armor pieces and upgrading that and building in that way. And I know what's coming later down the line. I'm going to have to prepare for some heavy duty, grinding and leveling up and stuff. But as for right now, it's like, I'm really just like, you're really just throwing fights at me because I haven't fought anything in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why am I fighting these things? Do I need to be fighting these things? Would this be a better sequence of events if it was quiet and if it was just occasional character dialogue? And I understand Kratos is a character who doesn't talk a lot, but I think there's so much more to be said in his silence than there is when he actually does speak. And when he does speak, it matters because he's so quiet. And if we as the player felt that in real narrative ways, instead of just, hey, we haven't had a character moment in a little while, and Atreus and Mimir are the only ones who are talking back and forth for 20 minutes, and then Kratos speaks, and it's really poignant. What if, instead of being like, okay, but to make sure our player is entertained, throw a combat arena, what if it's just, hey, we're just walking in silence, and that silence is building tension. There's even a moment where a character says, ooh, hey, things are really quiet between y'all. It's really tense. And that gets waved off with some attitude by one of the other characters. And I go, but has it been quiet? Has that tension built? Am I unnerved with where the characters are in the relationship right now? These are things that, like, I really do think Naughty Dog games do very, very well. Maybe not so much Uncharted, especially those first 3 Uncharted games. But both Last of Us games do this perfectly, where it's like the combat arenas come exactly when they need to, and the character moments come exactly when they need to, and the silence comes where you're just walking exactly where it needs to. Maybe less so with Last of Us Part 2, where if you go back and listen, one of my original critiques was there was just a few too many battle arenas, but it never felt like it got in the way of the story. It never felt like it lessened the impact of the story, and I still don't think it's not getting in the way of the story of God of War. But it does lead to moments that are less impactful because of it. And I'm sitting here wondering while I was playing it and while I was feeling this way, why do I feel this way now and not when the game first came out? And I think it's because of that one-take camera, making it so much more personal, the camera being so much closer to Kratos. Like, Kratos takes up a third of the fucking screen. Having that single-take camera where you're in control for 60%, 70% of the cinematography in the game, but it doesn't feel like it's taking the camera away from you when a cutscene plays, and it's putting it right, like, so seamlessly putting it right back in your hands. It really does cover up a lot of those moments where it's like, okay, now we're a video game, versus, okay, now we're telling you a story. And I think it's a really good way when the two things aren't aligning perfectly, to really, like, kind of fill in those cracks and to mold over it and kind of paint over it to where you don't notice it as much. You don't notice a hole in the wall if you put a little of the, what is like the easy fix, like hole filler thing. You know what I'm talking about?
It's been a while, but yeah.
You don't notice it quite as quickly as you do if there was just straight up a hole in the wall. So kind of tricky there, Santa Monica, but I'm on to you now. 4 years later, I'm on to you.
I can definitely see that, but I think it's a bigger issue of you being a little bitch who's too afraid to just be hitting things too much. It might hurt. I hate to press the button too much.
I don't know if you remember. Do you remember the trolls in the game? Not the big ones with the big stick that hit you with the big concrete stick.
The trolls.
The smaller ones that you climb on top of and you hit them on the head and then they do the little ground pound things.
Yeah.
If the troll is the last thing you fight, they artificially insert more enemies so that the troll can kill those enemies when you're on top of it. These are the things that I'm noticing on my second playthrough where I'm like, wait, no, this was the last guy I had to fight. Why didn't you just cut to a kill animation?
Yeah.
Why are you extending this fight longer when it's already over? The fight is already over. You're just extending it because you want me to feel powerful, because in the original God of War games, you would jump on a fucking giant thing and kill a bunch of them.
A Cyclops or something like that.
Yeah. But in this one, it's so personal, and the combat encounters have so few enemies to where you're probably going to, and it's so tight-knit, and you're probably going to take out the smaller mobs first, and then focus on the big thing, depending on your tactics or whatever.
Right.
That's the tactic I employ, because I find it easier to deal with one target versus 5 targets. So then to artificially insert those enemies when I'm on top of that troll, I'm like, see, these are the things where it's like, You didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do that. I understand it's to make the player feel cool and so that they can have this moment where they feel like they're on top of a thing.
But it's unnecessary.
Yeah, but it's unnecessary. Or you could just make a really cool kill animation, and I'll still feel just as powerful.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll be able to find that out when I play the game whenever I get my PS5, because that is on my my replay list currently
60
right now.
60 frames a second, man.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
yeah.
man, it's real nice. Let me tell you.
Translates well, I bet.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy it quite a bit. And I'm excited for Phil to play it over on Hype. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, you can catch us live, twitch.tv/2pennygames every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central Time. Watch us, make our way through Mass Effect 3. The week after, this week, we're just going to be working our way through. But next week, we are more than likely, I assume, going to be finishing Mass Effect 3. It'd be hard pressed to squeeze another week out of Mass Effect 3, but who knows? I'm just kind of letting Phil experience it the way he wants to experience it. Man, I'm not rushing you. You don't have to rush to the end.
Especially the Citadel DLC.
Yeah.
You need to take his time on that one.
Take your time on that. But, anyways, you can go.
By the way, make sure you save before you start calling people over to your apartment. Please. You never know.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out. I mean, these are things that only happen to you, I think.
I know.
I've played, even on PS3, I've played the Citadel DLC a dozen times, and it's like, that's never happened to me.
I know. It's just me.
You find weird shit.
I know.
Honest. Speaking of finding weird shit, if you found us randomly on the YouTube feeds, remember, you can find us over on Spotify. You can find us on youtube.com/2pennygamescast. Or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud. If you'd rather just have us in your ears, maybe save a little battery power, have us in your little car chips or whatever, go find us there. We're great. It's all fun, fantastic times, all good times. If you can't catch us live on twitch.tv/2pennygames, you can catch smaller, edited down, little, not bite size because they're still an hour plus long, but more approachable videos over at youtube.com/2pennygamescast. Remember, you can catch our Metal Gear Solid 1 playthrough and how it's progressing right there. That stream was from back in January, so we've changed a lot since then.
Yeah.
Equipment's better.
You have names over your heads.
We
now.
have names over our names now. Whatever you said. Just falling apart.
You've been talking a lot.
I'm just falling apart. Anyways, that is going to be it for the 2 Penny Gamescast, episode 55. Remember, catch us every Monday, 8 a.m. Central Time. But until next week, Connor, say goodbye to the people.
See ya.